Camp Hearn opens its doors in June of 1943 and held German prisoners through December 1945. And on average, there were about 4,000 to 3,500 prisoners of war here at any given time. You know, early on in the war, all the prisoners that were held at Camp Hearn came from the German Africa Corps because that was the first group of German prisoners that were captured.
Well, I had volunteered for the Africa Corps, which was a better chance than going to Russia. So that number one. So, and I was sent to Tunisia, which was former French colony. And actually, when we surrendered to the French.
We brought the first prisoners from North Africa to Hearn. And this old country boy really got an education in North Africa. See, I was drafted in the Army to be a guard. That's what we was trained for from the time I went in till they busted us up.
The Geneva Convention states that the prisoners that were here, which were non-commissioned officers and enlisted men, could work on non-war related projects, which meant that they could work in the agricultural fields or the lumber industry or the rice fields. Morning
wake up was probably around 7 and probably breakfast at 8. Of course, we were assigned to work details. And so at 8 o'clock, trucks picked you up to wherever it was. For a while, I worked on farms.
They would work, I believe they drawed something like 80 cents a day. And I don't think they drawed it in money, but they drawed it in slips where they could spend it and buy stuff with it.
In Compound 1 were enlisted men, and in Compound 2 there were non-commissioned officers, which would be sergeants and corporals. On their days off or when they weren't working, they would engage in all sorts of different activities. They started a school where they learned everything from history to English to foreign languages. They would do construction projects and build fountains, create statuary. They had painting classes. They had orchestras here to entertain themselves.
In a way, we were all Nazis. I was in the Hitler Youth from 14 to 18. And I grew up in the Nazi doctrine. Hitler was the leader and all that stuff. But I was not very well liked by ardent Nazis. I spoke enough English to make myself understood. There were orders given what to do. I had to translate. When you're a prisoner of war, you have to make a decision. The power were the guards. And that took me through the whole 4.5 years of prison war camp because I made friends with guards, and by and large, it was always in my favor.
I'd say I was lucky to be a prisoner of war guard. We wasn't fighting overseas. But when they busted up, see, I went to the infantry. And I don't talk much about that.